All right, y'all. I'm back, and this time I'm good. Not going to answer any calls this time. But, okay, so I was watching the commissioners meeting last night, this morning, and overall, great meeting. But the big thing that we are seeing question online from this meeting is the vote on the healthcare brokers for the county healthcare plans. There are several things that I want to touch on about this. And please understand that anything that I say is not a personal attack on anyone whatsoever that is on that board, that works for the county, or anything. It's just facts, and facts matter. They really do. So the first thing I want to point out is that this vote was on the agenda for this meeting. And what that means is for a week, every single county commissioner knew that this vote was going to be happening. So what does that mean, right? So if a county commissioner gets an agenda a week before, their job, what they were elected to do, is to look at everything on that agenda, create the questions that they have about these items, dig further, ask for documents, paperwork, be prepared at the meeting to vote on it or explain why you're not voting on it. And so we did see Larry, Ian, and Laura. They went ahead, they voted on it. But we did see Jones and Wortman act like they had no idea that this was happening. It was on the agenda. Now, it's different if you say, I haven't had enough time to research this and decide how I want to vote. It's different if you say, hey, I saw this, I have some questions, maybe you can answer them. And if the questions and the answers aren't to your liking as a commissioner, you ask to vote at the next meeting. That's different than acting like you had no idea and someone just pulled a rabbit out of the hat and stunned you with this. No. As an elected official, you get the agenda ahead of time to prepare to do what you were elected to do. That's first and foremost, okay? And I'm sorry, I'm fired up about this because how is anyone mad that we are looking at a $13 million deficit and 3 county commissioners right now are going to save us an average of about $3 million? Now, let me point this out. That's just an average, right? 2 other firms, 2 other brokers for our healthcare plan were interviewed in addition to the one we already have that we've been using for 5 years, okay? Both of those firms quoted millions in savings. Both of those firms said we are paying millions more than what we need to or should be paying. And that was just an average of what they were offering. So that's number one. We're saving money. What does that mean for the public? Okay. Number one, if the county, and I'm just going to use, figures out of thin air for easy math. Let's just say for the healthcare plans with USI, Cabarrus County was paying $1 million. That's $1 million of your money, taxpayers, $1 million. And we could find providers to give the same or better coverage, and they are offering to do it for $500,000. Would it not be financially prudent to explore those other options, saying they could give the same or better service at a lower cost? That is exactly what Laura, Ian, and Larry did. Now, let's talk about that a little bit, because that's technically not even what a county commissioner could do. I'm giving kudos to them for doing it. Because really that's the county manager's job. And if I remember correctly, about a year ago, Laura asked the county manager to go ahead and start vetting other providers to see if we could save money or not. And so what happened? Why did Laura and Ian have to jump in and start interviewing providers themselves? Well, what happened is the county manager was dragging their feet. We got to the deadline to where we had to give the USI, our current ones, a 90-day notice of whether we were re-upping or not. And so they had to jump in and do that job. Kudos to them for going above and beyond. Kudos for them for trying to save us money. So, y'all, the beauty of this, and these are the questions I wish Kenny Mortman and Jeff Jones would have asked. These are the questions. What will this cost employees and retirees of the county more money on their premiums? If they would have asked that question, I mean, that is a common sense question. The answer would have been no, because both of the groups that were interviewed said, hey, we can not only save you millions of dollars, here's what else we can do. We can give you more benefits. We can give you more options. And some of those options are actually lower premiums. So we're not only saving the taxpayers money, there's potential to actually save our county employees and retirees money on their premiums. But that question wasn't asked. Another question that should have been asked, why? They acted so blindsided, even though it was on the agenda. Why are we voting on this? Well, the fact of the matter is we're voting on this because prior to the current leadership on the Board of Commissioners, we got locked into a 5-year contract with USI. 5 years. A lot changes in 5 years. Why are we entering into contracts that long? That does not give us the option to shop around. That does not give us the option to negotiate or anything like that. So, guys, you really should be supporting Laura, Ian, and Larry on this. Whether you like them personally, whether they voted on stuff you don't like in the past, right? You don't have to love everything about them, but when they do something right, you definitely need to support that, because this is right. This is one of those things that we have to do if we're going to reduce our spending down. We are in a deficit. You guys don't want your taxes increased again, right? How is it that Cabarrus County keeps getting more and more and more and more in revenue, but we don't have the money and we have to keep on raising the taxes on our citizens? Well, it's a lot of this. A lot of go along to get along. A lot of complacency. A lot of, I don't like that commissioner, so if they're asking me to do something, I'm going to drag my feet. I'm sorry, no. This is what a county commissioner should be doing. They should be looking at the budget. They should be asking the questions. And if our employees are being directed to do something to save the taxpayers' money and they're not doing it, then our county commissioners should be stepping in, just like Laura, Ian, and Larry have done. So guys, anyone mad about this? Anyone mad about them saving us, potentially $3 million on average for just this one thing in our county budget is insane. It's insanity. And no, if the question would have been asked, it doesn't get passed off to the employee or the retiree, right? I don't think any of our commissioners are going to say, let's reduce this cost and pass it off to the retirees and the county employees. Absolutely not. A lot of those county employees and retirees are taxpayers here in our county too. But the questions weren't asked. The questions weren't asked because supposedly 2 commissioners didn't know that this was happening. Well, you had an agenda. And if you're not looking at the agenda, that worries me. But here's the thing. We know they looked at the agenda because they had a lot of comments about the public comment policy. They had a lot of comments about the EDC policy, right? Policies, but not budget. Guess what? You can have policies all day long. They can make you feel good. They can make you smile. They can get you sued, as we saw. Or you can focus on the budget. Because if I would have looked at that agenda, yeah, I would have looked at the policies. I would have looked at everything. But my main focus would have been that healthcare. Knowing they just had a work session that told them we were going to be in a $13.7 million deficit. But that wasn't important to them. They were too concerned about whether a public speaker comes up and says a cuss word. They were too concerned about whether EDC funding is going to get cut and all these things. But they weren't concerned about saving you guys money. Guess what? The limiting cuss words in public comment opens you up to a lawsuit. That's violation of First Amendment rights. Spending money. That EDC, spending money. That healthcare premium, saving money. So what I would encourage you guys to do, if you can't get to these meetings, because I know you can't always watch these meetings, look at the agendas. They're online for us all to see. I'll post it in the comments. It's online. If those commissioners did not know they were going to be voting on this and they're acting blindsided by it, well, Bless their hearts. That's all I'm going to say. And guys, as you are looking at the candidates running for county commissioner that you need to vote for in the primaries, I'm one of them, yes. Be looking at how they're responding to this, because this is important. How things are running right now is important. That's all I've got to say today. I was a little fired up about that. I will probably put out a video about everything else talked about at that meeting. But that was the big one, because we should also be cheering. We're going to save $3 million. Like, I don't know about y'all. That's a lot of money to me. Anyway, y'all make it a great day. Don't forget, tonight is virtual town hall for yours truly. You can join via Zoom. The registration link is on my commissioner page, my campaign page. I'll drop that in the comments below. Hope to see you there. I will make a statement, and then I am going to answer questions from you, the public. I'm going to answer them unprepared. I'm going to answer them if I have adversaries there asking me questions, trying to get gotcha. Like, I'm there. I'm that person. Have a great day, y'all. I'll talk to you soon.